Justin Bieber did not just ignore Usher that night. He iced him out in a room full of the most powerful people in the world. And girl, the way this whole thing went down, it's not giving random drama, it's giving years of tension finally snapping in public. So picture this properly. March 15th, 2026. Oscars night. The awards are done, everyone's smiling for cameras, pretending everything's perfect, and then the real party starts. Beyonce and Jay-Z throw that super exclusive after party at Chateau Marmont. No phones, no leaks, just straight A-list energy. We're talking Taylor Swift, Timothée Chalamet, Michael B., Jordan, Kylie Jenner, Emma Stone. Like, this is the kind of room where even celebrities feel nervous, okay? Now imagine Justin Bieber and Usher walking into that same space after not being seen together publicly for years. Already awkward. But what happened next? That's where things get messy. According to reports, Usher walks up to Justin with what people described as energy and anger. Not casual, not friendly, not, hey bro, long time. No. It was tense from the jump, and Justin, he doesn't match it. He doesn't lean in. He doesn't try to smooth things over. He just shuts it down. And depending on who you ask, the story changes slightly. Some people are saying it almost turned physical, like it was that heated. Others, especially people close to Justin, are like, relax. It wasn't that deep. There was no fight. But here's the key detail nobody is denying. There was a confrontation. They argued. In front of everyone, Michael B. Jordan was there. Timothée was there. Like, this was not some private hallway moment. This was right there in a room full of people who run the industry. And then Dumois comes in and basically says, y'all are exaggerating. According to them, Justin didn't even want to engage. He just chose to completely ignore Usher. Like, imagine walking up to someone you mentored, someone you helped build, and they just blank you in front of Beyonce's entire guest list. That's not just disrespect, that's intentional. And Justin's team, they respond, but listen carefully. They deny any physical altercation. That's it. They don't deny the argument. They don't deny Usher coming in angry. They don't deny the tension. Just the physical part. Usher, silent. Not one word. No clarification, no denial, nothing. And honestly, that silence is loud, because when someone says nothing in a situation like this, it usually means there's more behind it than what people are seeing. And this didn't just come out of nowhere. You have to rewind this whole relationship to understand why Justin Bieber would treat Usher like that in public. Let's go back to 2024. Usher headlines the Super Bowl halftime show. Huge moment, career defining. And he reaches out to Justin, invites him to perform with him. Justin says no, flat out. Now, at the time, people were like, okay, maybe he's just not ready. Maybe he's focusing on himself. And Usher even played it cool in interviews. He was like, no love lost. We'll do something in the future. But looking back now, that feels like the first crack. Because after that, things started shifting quietly. Then 2025 hits and Justin starts cleaning house. Scooter Braun, unfollowed. His business manager, Lou Taylor, gone. And then Usher, also gone. No explanation, no statement, no drama online. Just cut off. And that's when people started asking questions, because Justin wasn't just distancing himself from random industry people. He was removing himself from everyone tied to a certain circle. And Lou Taylor, girl, that name keeps popping up in places it shouldn't. She was involved during Britney Spears' conservatorship. Her company got mentioned around Diddy's situation too. It's like all these dots start connecting in a very uncomfortable way. And then you hear whispers that Usher might have been taking extra percentages from Justin's deals back in the day, more than what was agreed. Now imagine that for a second. You're a kid, you trust someone like a big brother, and years later, you find out money was being taken behind your back. That alone is enough to break a relationship. But here's the thing. People don't think it's just about money. Because once you bring Diddy into this conversation, everything gets darker. And this is where it stops feeling like celebrity drama and starts feeling like something way deeper. Because once you really start pulling on that Diddy thread, the whole situation stops looking like a simple fallout and starts looking like something that's been sitting under the surface for years, just waiting to explode. Let's go all the way back, because this didn't start with Justin Bieber. This started with Usher. Usher himself has said this. At just 14 years old, he was sent to live with Diddy. 14. That's not an age where you understand power dynamics, industry politics, or anything like that. You're just a kid being placed in an environment way bigger than you. And when Usher later talked about that time on the Howard Stern show, he didn't describe it like some normal mentorship situation. He said he saw curious things. That was his word, curious. Now, you know, when someone uses a word like that, instead of just explaining it directly, it usually means what they saw wasn't something you can easily put into clean, comfortable language. He even admitted he didn't fully understand what he was looking at back then, just that it was wild. So keep that in your mind. Because years later, Usher meets Justin Bieber. Justin is 12 years old. 12. And Usher brings him into that same world. And this is not speculation, okay? There is actual video of Diddy on camera talking about Justin Bieber, saying that a teenage Justin is going to be with him for 48 hours doing things that can't be disclosed. And when that clip resurfaced recently, people were not laughing. They were uncomfortable, like genuinely disturbed, because the way it was said, it didn't feel like a joke. So now you have this chain. Usher goes through something at 14, sees things he doesn't understand. Then Justin comes in at 12 and gets introduced to that same environment. And suddenly, the question shifts. Not why are Justin and Usher fighting, but what happened back then that could make Justin cut everyone off years later? Because Justin hasn't just been distancing himself from Usher, he's been distancing himself from that entire era of his life. And this is where Jaguar Wright enters the conversation. Now listen, before we even get into what she said, let's be clear. These are allegations, not proven in court. But the reason people are paying attention is because of how they line up with everything else. Jaguar Wright sat down and basically dropped a claim that made people pause. She said Usher had legal guardianship over Justin Bieber at one point, and that during that time, he allegedly allowed Diddy to have access to Justin for those 48 hours. And her question? It's the kind of question that sticks in your head whether you want it to or not. She said, why would Usher admit he wouldn't leave his own children around Diddy, but thought it was okay to leave Justin there? Now again, that is her claim. Usher has not responded to it. There is no court confirmation of that specific detail, but the reason this is blowing up is because it connects dots that people were already side-eyeing, because we already know Usher lived with Diddy. Usher introduced Justin to Diddy. There is video of Justin spending time under Diddy's supervision as a minor, and now Diddy is in prison, convicted on serious charges related to trafficking. So people are looking back at everything with a completely different lens, and then you add one more detail that just makes things feel even more off. In 2024, right when all the Diddy allegations started going mainstream, Usher suddenly deleted his entire Twitter account. Gone. And when people asked about it, he said it was hacked. But fans didn't buy that because the timing, too perfect. It looked like someone trying to clean up, not someone who just got locked out of their account. And now fast forward to that Oscars night. Usher approaches Justin with anger. Justin shuts him down completely. No conversation, no reconciliation, nothing. And people are calling Justin rude for that. Let's really think about that for a second. Because Justin has been very open about his mental health. Depression, anxiety, Lyme disease. He stepped away from music for years to fix himself, to rebuild his life. He's not the same kid anymore. He's 32 now, a husband, a father, And when you grow up and start healing, you start seeing people differently, especially the ones who were around you when you were too young to understand what was happening. So when sources say Justin has always been rude to Usher, you have to question that narrative. Is that rudeness? Or is that someone finally setting boundaries with people who remind him of a past he doesn't want anything to do with anymore? Because ignoring someone isn't always about disrespect. Sometimes it's about survival. And if Justin really feels like those years around Usher and Diddy were tied to things that hurt him, confused him, or affected him mentally, then walking away completely starts to make a lot more sense. And suddenly, that moment at the party, it doesn't look random anymore. It looks like years of silence,